And President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned a terrorist attack on a Kaduna-bound passenger train on Monday. The president made the condemnation on Tuesday at the State House in Abuja after receiving briefs from the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo. The delegation included the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Isiaka Amao, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, as well as Major General Samuel Adebayo, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, and the Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, Yusuf Bichi. The president, in a statement issued by his spokesman, Garba Shehu, described the bombing of the train as a matter of grave concern. President Buhari restated his earlier directive that the military should deal ruthlessly with terrorists, asking them to be more decisive and not spare anyone unlawfully wielding the AK-47 weapon. President Buhari directed the immediate conclusion of all the processes for the implementation of the integrated security surveillance and monitoring solution for the Abuja to Kaduna rail line, adding that it should be extended to cover the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. He also directed the Nigeria Railway Corporation management to speedily repair the damaged lines and resume normal service without delay. The president charged the law enforcement chiefs to bring back all passengers kidnapped and ensure that each of the callous terrorists are hunted down and made to face justice for their heinous acts, as no one or group should be allowed to make the country prostrate. The president, however, commended the law enforcement agencies for their prompt response and emergency personnel who were responsible for the evacuation and treatment of the injured persons. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo visits Kaduna State to condole with victims of the train attack. Osinbajo was received at the Kaduna airport by the state governor, Nasir El-Rufai. He visited victims of the attacks at the 44 Nigeria Army Reference Hospital and St. Gerard's Catholic Hospital, both in the Kaduna State capital. The Vice President's visit comes less than 24 hours after an attack by bandits at Dutse village in Chukwu local government area of Kaduna State. The bandits attacked a train conveying hundreds of travelers, killed many, and abducted others. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, with heads of security agencies in the state, visit 44 Army Reference Hospital and St. Gerard Hospital to see some of the citizens that were injured during the attack on the Kaduna-Abuja train on Monday. El-Rufai sympathized with former Zamfara State Deputy Governor Ibrahim Wakala, who sustained gunshot wounds and is responding to treatment. The state government said a concerted effort is being made to account for all persons that were on the train. The governor announced on his official Facebook page that the Kaduna Emergency Management Agency will shortly announce phone numbers that families can contact for inquiries or provide information on passengers. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has ordered troops to hunt down terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna-bound train on Monday night. General Yahya, accompanied by some principal staff officers of the Army headquarters and the General Officer commanding 1 division, gave the order when he visited the scene of the Kaduna-Abuja train attack on Tuesday. The Army boss said the troops must intensify search and rescue operations, which has been ongoing for many hours. He urged members of the surrounding communities and all Nigerians to continue to avail troops with credible information to enhance their operations across the country. Chinelu Megafu, a medical doctor, had no premonition that the train will be attacked by bandits. On board the ill-fated train, when the bandits struck, Dr. Megafu tweeted calling for prayers after being shot. She said, "I'm on the train. I've been shot. Please pray for me." Colleagues continued to pay tribute after realizing that she did not survive the attack. And another victim of the bandits' attack on the train is a director with the National Board for Technical Education, MBTE, Abdu Gofar Mata. Gofar Mata died from gunshots by the terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna passenger train on Monday night. Kano Focus reports the director did not survive the attack, as many are still missing, while some are at hospitals receiving treatment over injuries sustained. The deceased will be buried in Kano, as the funeral prayer would hold when his corpse arrives from Kaduna. Gofar Mata holds an MSc in Management, an MBA and an SME diploma from Galilee in Israel. He is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management and an associate member of the National Institute of Marketing. The late 55-year-old director is survived with a wife and 4 children. Meanwhile, members of the Trade Union Congress TUC on Tuesday expressed outrage following the death of two prominent members of executives who were victims of Monday's attack by terrorists on the Abuja-Kaduna train. The Secretary General of the TUC, Musa Ozigi, was among the passengers killed when the terrorists attacked the train, abducting scores of passengers. Another victim and prominent member of the Congress is Kwara State Chairman of the TUC, Akinshola Akinwumi, who was also killed during the attack. The Nigeria Senate has called on the Army and the Air Force to, as a matter of urgency, bombard terrorist enclaves with a view to restoring peace and stability in the country. This comes as the Upper Legislative Chamber called on President Muhammadu Buhari to declare full-scale war against terrorists so as to secure Nigeria's territory. The report.
Abuja-Kaduna route is a strategic one in the northern part of Nigeria. It is a major route leading the northern parts to other parts of the country. As the bandits have chosen to threaten its relevance, so also the need for stakeholders to wage greater war against them. Senate has therefore come up with new resolutions as lawmakers resume sitting this week. The new resolution followed a motion sponsored by Senator Uba Sani, who drew the attention of the upper legislative house to the bandits' attack on Kaduna-bound train on Monday night. Senator Sani recalled the attack on Kaduna-bound train carrying over 970 passengers around Kateri-Rigaza axis in Kaduna, just few kilometers to the Rigaza train station at about 7:45 p.m. on Monday.
Note that these latest attacks are aimed at instilling fear in the people and destroying the economies of our local communities. It is disheartening that these enemies of the people are getting emboldened by the day. They are becoming more brazen. These blood-curdling bonfires have no regard for human life. They have no place in civilized society. Note also that unrelenting attacks call to question the strategies and tactics being adopted by security forces.
A cross-section of lawmakers noted that Kaduna had become the new theater of insecurity, concluded then that terrorists have declared war against Nigerians and it is time for Nigeria to declare war against the terrorists.
It is safe and right, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to conclude that terrorists have declared war against Nigeria, and I think it is time for Nigeria to declare war against these terrorists. Mr. President, we shouldn't allow this situation to continue, where we lay back, they come to attack, then we repel, we try to do damage control and the like. I think it is time for these terrorists to be seriously taken as a national security threat, and we should declare a war against them forthwith.
In Kaduna in person, Kaduna town and Kaduna state as a whole, no day they don't kill over 300 in a day. Every blessed day, no day that they don't kill souls, more than 300.
Mr. President, since we're inaugurated here, discussions on the security of our country has taken a large chunk of our discussion here. And I believe and feel that it is time enough for the appropriate authorities to have taken decisive actions to address the security in our country. Mr. President, Kaduna has become the new theater. And Kaduna is where the highest military institutions are housed.
The Senate accordingly urged the Nigerian Army and the Air Force to carry out sustained bombardment of terrorist enclaves in the area, with a view to flushing them out and restoring peace and stability to the affected communities. Frequent attacks on the Abuja-Kaduna rail line has become an issue too many to bear. Observers are deeply worried over why the matter is not put under control.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives wants security agencies to put together a task force to check and repel attacks on the nation's airports and railways. This follows a motion of urgent national importance brought by Nolim Naji at plenary following recent incident of terrorist attacks on the Kaduna International Airport and Abuja-Kaduna train within the space of 3 days. The report.
The two incidents occurred within a space of 3 days, and federal lawmakers do not find the development acceptable. Nolim Naji, member representing Nkanu East and West Federal Constituency of Anambra State, while debating the motion said 12 persons were abducted by the terrorists that attacked the Kaduna International Airport on the 25th of March, with one person, a security personnel with the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, reportedly killed. This is despite efforts by the military to repel the attack, noting that if something drastic is not done urgently, it may embolden terrorists to attack more airports in the country.
If it happens in other places, if they start attacking our airports, the implication is that even the international airlines will stop coming to Nigeria. That's the implication, and the premium on our local airlines, the premium on their insurance will increase, will go up, and the implication is that the air tickets will double. Because once the premium on insurance goes up, the air ticket will double. So that's why I'm asking that the leadership should come to our aid to see how we can solve this problem.
Lawmakers, while condemning the act, called for proactive action by security agencies through the setting up of a task force to man the nation's airports and railways.
We must present a very formidable front as a house to ensure that this thing do not happen again. And for it not to happen, somebody, somewhere, must be held responsible. It couldn't have just been ordinary that these people would drive through the city and come and challenge the security of our airports. For me, it is not only reprehensible, Honorable Speaker, sir, but a display of general ineptitude on the part of the security responsible for security in our airport.
Those who used to go to Kaduna by road became challenged because of kidnapping on Abuja-Kaduna road. And then, thank God, the railway came, the train came, Mr. Speaker, and they are being challenged today. Nigerian Railway Corporation had issued a statement that they are going to suspend the activities of the rail along that line. And Mr. Speaker, we were challenged some few days ago for us to have an infraction in the airport, which means that nowhere is safe. So, Mr. Speaker, if our roads are not safe, if our rails are not safe, and if our airport, which is the beginning point of our airways, are not safe, Mr. Speaker, then it calls for us to suspend everything political to begin to address the critical needs of Nigerians.
An amendment on the need to include the incident of the bombing of a train carrying over 970 passengers attacked near Rigasa Station, Kaduna, is also unanimously adopted. Following coordinated attacks on key transportation facilities in Kaduna State, the House of Representatives is inviting security chiefs for an emergency meeting to tackle the menace. Also invited are the Minister of Transportation, Minister of Aviation, and heads of affected agencies.
We will now join Sagir Ibrahim at the Idu train station in Abuja for an update on the ongoing rescue operations following the attack on the Kaduna-bound train on Monday evening.
The information we have so far is that following the attack of the Kaduna-bound train from Abuja last night, 2 trains had departed the Abuja station to help evacuate stranded passengers. Now, according to an update given to Trust TV by the president of the Nigerian Union of Railway Workers, Innocent Ajije, the second evacuation train had sustained a minor accident as a result of the damaged train tracks badly affected by the blast. Now, some station officials here at the Idu train station in Abuja told us that the first train had left for evacuation resume operations by 10 p.m. on Monday night, and the second had left by 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning. The officials also say that the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, on Tuesday morning left through the Kubwa train station to Kaduna for an on-the-spot assessment of damage done. So far, an exact figure of casualties is yet to be released by the authorities, and also the train station remains deserted following the suspension of normal activities by the authorities due to the blast.
And still on the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, in the studios, Dr. Yahuza Gezu is a security analyst, and he now joins us to share his perspective on the persistent bandit attacks. You're welcome to News Hour.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, viewers.
All right. So the question now is, this is the second time the bandits are actually attempting to attack the train. It was first an attempt, and now they've actually succeeded in doing that. And in what appears to be a daring attack. So in your perspective, what does this actually mean? Are the terrorists becoming bolder?
Well, this is a clear testimony that the terrorists are becoming more volatile, and they're becoming more ready and more organized than our security formations. It is really a big slap to Nigerian security formations, to Nigerian security agencies, to Nigerian political system, to Nigerian administrative system, and to Nigerian leadership, for the fact that on Saturday, these criminals have the capability, confidence, courage, agility, enthusiasm, determination, and dedication, who's in the daybreak light to have attacked the Kaduna International Airport. That is a message to international community that the security and intelligence in Nigeria is so forced and cannot be relied on. On the next thing, yesterday, at the midnight, at the 7:47 exactly, as reported by some of the friends that we have on the train, the attackers get there well organized. One, it is about 15-minute drive to Regasa. 15-minute drive to Regasa in Kaduna. Two, they have buses, so which they use to cut away those they have kidnapped. They put them in the buses within the radius of 15-minute drive to Kaduna, and they escaped with them, and they have started consulting the families of those who have been kidnapped about negotiating the ransom. And three, it takes the security agencies, despite the huge presence of security personnel that we have in Kaduna, in terms of military. You have the Air Force Base, you have the Nigerian Defense Academy, you have the GOC, you have the Jaji Cantonment, you have all sort of armories and all other formations of the civil defense, the police, the special task force, and where it may be. And at the same time, the governor of Kaduna State made mention that he has spent trillions of money as inputs into the security. But yet, we have not seen anything. Even though we commend him and we commend the Commissioner for Security and Home Affairs for their determination, dedication, and effort they have made, and political zeals, political commitment. Because we know, if at all yesterday, Governor Nasser El-Rufai have access to the AK-47, he could have been at the scene much an hour or an hour and a half before the arrival of the military. But so sad, the security were not there to rescue these people on time, until after the bandits or whosoever the unscrupulous elements may be, have already carted thousands, killed many, wounded many, and caused a serious havoc to Nigerian economy. And at the same time, we are now hearing and seeing the members of the National Assembly and the Senate just making a huge amount of wasting time and wasting resources. Because what they are saying, yes, of course, what have you been doing? You said you set up, there was a committee when the October event happened. Where is the report of that committee? Kaduna State government set up a committee, federal government set up a committee, Minister of Transportation set up a committee, Nigerian Railway Corporation set up a committee. And I'm optimistic that I cannot vividly remember the quote, But I know there was also a commitment from the Inspector General of Police as well as the Chief of Army Staff and the service chiefs in respect to that after the October incidents.
Right,
so where are the reports? What were outlined as the key issues identified? What were outlined as the key primary recommendations and secondary recommendations? And what have government did in achieving or implementing those things? When I heard the President Muhammadu Buhari was saying that it is now the time to implement a certain policy, that is an insult. That is an assault on the personality of Nigeria as a government.
This war on this terrorism that we're facing right now, this war has been going on for a while.
Yes.
So as a security and intelligence expert, what do you think we can do? Because it seems like whatever it is we're doing right now is not working.
Well, let me tell you one thing, and I'm telling Nigerians, and I'm telling the government of Nigeria and the government of Kaduna State. Two things is happening. One, there is sabotage. Two, there is negligence.
Okay.
So government must to sit to its responsibility. President Muhammadu Buhari remains the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But there are enemies within. That is, when I say within, enemies within the government. Because it has been made very clear, even looking at the report of the Auditor General that audited the armories of the Nigerian police by the report as released for 2019. Thousands of arms were missing in the armories. Where are these arms going? Where are they going and how comes? So it means if you can check that of 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, 2011, 2012, as well as the 2021, when armed proliferation became the subject of the day. In the armed importers, the armed transporters, the armed traders, the armed movers utilized the period of the 2021 in attaining almost 100% of their vision and mission.
So basically,
so if at all these two things will be dealt with, the sabotage, government need to have a kind of strategic, schemic intelligence mechanism to understand and conduct root cause analysis, why the sabotage and who are the internal enemy, who are the enemies within, who are the external enemies, who are the bilateral and multilateral enemies, and what are the economic interests being bounced on based on the reasons why all this sabotage is happening. And at the same time, internally within the government, let itself look into the word negligence. So there is negligence from the president, Muhammadu Buhari himself. So there is negligence from the governors. There is negligence from other security operatives. So basically, lack of synergy is a negligence.
What we need to do, what we need to have is a synergized attempt and a synergized plan to actually deal with this. All right.
The operational policy need to change, and it has to be derivative based on the occurrence and based on the result of the root cause. And it is not only people in uniform that can secure this nation. There are other intellects that need to be brought on board so that the whatever will be succeeded.
So thank you. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Yahuza Getso, security intelligence and intelligence expert, giving us his 2 cents on the current situation of security in Nigeria. So thank you very much for coming.
It's been a great pleasure.
All right, sir.